This lecture is on moles, atoms, and grams. What do these equalities have in common? 2 dice equal a pair of dice. 12 eggs equal a dozen eggs. And 1 ring equals 500 sheets. Answer: each quantity can be expressed by a term representing a specific number of items. In chemistry, the amount of a substance can be represented by a unit called the mole. 1 mole of a substance equals 12 G of carbon 12 equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 entities. 1 mole of any substance equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 entities. Avogadro's number actually is 6.022140857 times 10 to the 23. For simplistic purposes, it is rounded to 6.022 times 10 to the 23, or 6.02 times 10 to the 23. Depending on instructor. Examples include 1 mole of carbon 12 equals 12G of carbon 12 equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 carbon 12 atoms. 1 mole of magnesium equals 24.31 G of magnesium equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 magnesium atoms. 1 mole of helium equals 4.002 G of helium equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 helium atoms. And 1 mole of lithium equals 6.94 G of lithium equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 lithium atoms. Using Avogadro's number in calculation can be done by using it as a conversion factor. An example is 1 mole of helium equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 helium atoms. If one wants to go from atoms to moles, it is 1 mole of He per 6.022 times 10 to the 23 helium atoms. If one wants to go from moles to atoms, it is 6.022 times 10 to the 23 helium atoms per 1 mole of He. Using Avogadro's number in calculation can be done by using it as a conversion factor in advanced cases. Molar mass is defined as the sum of the atomic masses of all elements as expressed to the mass of 1 mole of substance, represented by M. Units are in grams per mole. An example is 1 mole of helium equals 4.002 G of helium. If one wants to go from grams to moles, it is 1 mole of He per 4.002 G of He. If one wants to go from moles to grams, it is 4.002 G of He per 1 mole He. When calculating the molar mass of a substance for accuracy purposes, express molar mass to at least 4 significant figures. A sample question is, what is the molar mass of CO2? You take the molar mass of each element as grams per 1 mole, and so here you have 1 mole of C equaling 12.01 grams, and 1 mole of O equaling 16.00 grams. And after doing that twice, add them up for a final molar mass of 44.01 grams per 1 mole of CO2. One can incorporate this in other comparisons. For ions, 1 mole of chloride ions equals 35.45 G of chloride ions equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 chloride ions. For molecular compounds, 1 mole of CO2 equals 44.01 G of CO2 equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 CO2 molecules. For ionic compounds, 1 mole of NaCl equals 58.44 G of NaCl equals 6.022 times 10 to the 23 NaCl formula units. Example 1. How many molecules of H2S are in 2.70 moles of H2S? Show a solution map where moles convert to molecules of H2S. In the end, after taking 2.70 moles of H2S and multiply by 6.022 times 10 to the 23 molecules of H2S per 1 mole H2S, it equals 1.63 times 10 to the 24 molecules of H2S. Example 2. What mass of CO2 contains 5.10 times 10 to the 24 molecules of CO2? Show a solution map where molecules convert to moles convert to grams. In the end, 5.10 times 10 to the 24 molecules of CO2 times 1 mole of CO2 per 6.022 times 10 to the 23 molecules of CO2 times 40.01 G of CO2 per 1 mole of CO2 equals 372 G of CO2. Example 3. What mass of Na2O contains 1.28 times 10 to the 23 formula units of Na2O? Show a solution map where formula units convert to moles, convert to grams. In the end, 1.28 times 10 to the 23 formula units of Na2O times 1 mole of Na2O over 6.022 times 10 to the 23 formula units of Na2O times 61.98 G of Na2O over 1 mole of Na2O, which equals 13.2 G of Na2O. Expressing from moles of a compound to moles of an element can be determined by the subscripts in the chemical formula. An example is 1 mole of Al2 parentheses SO4 parentheses 3 contains the following items: 2 moles of Al, 3 moles of S, and 12 moles of O. Example 4. What amount of CCl4 contains 2.4 mole of Cl? Show a solution map where moles of Cl convert to moles of CCl4. Taking 2.4 moles of Cl and multiplying by the conversion factor of 1 mole of CCl4 per 4 mole of Cl equals 0.60 moles of CCl4. Here are some review exercises for you to try. Please solve the following problems. 1. Find the mass of 2.41 times 10 to the 30 molecules of water. 2. Find the total number of atoms in 12.9 G of NH4 parentheses 2 Cr2O7 or ammonium dichromate. 3. What amount of O is there in 182 G of KCl3 or potassium chlorate? 4. Which one has more atoms? 1 mole of Cu or 1 mole of Ag? 5. Which one has the larger mass? 1 mole of Au or 1 mole of Na? And 6. Which one has the larger amount in moles? 1 G of C or 1 G of Xc? For the remaining part of this lecture are solutions to review exercises or problems. Please view only after completing these